Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Sunday Social Podcast. My name is Derek.
And I'm Jonathan.
And today, our topic of today's episode is what do you do if one of your posts that you work so hard on just flops, does not do well, the numbers are not showing? We've each written both of what we feel like we should do. So we're going to break those down, talk about them, and have a discussion around that topic. Right?
Yeah. Have you ever just you're like, dude, this post is going to kill it.
Right.
This is the post.
Yeah.
Like, you get that idea and you're like, this is the one that's going to go viral. And then you post it and it's like low, like a low number, for each of us, that's different, right? For me, like less than 10,000 is a really bad post. Right.
Yeah.
And I've done that before. You've helped me with one of these posts one time where I'm like, dude, this thing's going to like blow up. I'm going to create like a series of these. It's going to do so good. And then it just like mediocre.
Yeah.
And then the follow-up one, which I'm like, okay, maybe I need to post the next one. And that one tanks too. So I'm like, what do we do?
Yeah.
And I've tried a few things with these posts.
Yeah. So if that happens to you, what is your initial reaction to do?
I mean, the first thing typically is I just move on, right? Like, I think that's what we should do probably more often than not is like, okay, that idea was actually just bad. Like, at the same time, there are some posts that like I can't shake. Like, I'm just like, I want that one to do well. Like this one, I'm so excited about. I love it so much, right? So, but like, first of all, for the majority of my posts, I just move on. Cause like, there's times that I'm like, dude, this post is going to kill it. It bombs. The nice thing about posting every day is that you just got a new chance to try, right? Mm-hmm. And hopefully what I do then is I learn from the failure. Like I realize, okay, like, why do I think that didn't do well? I think ultimately we should learn from everything we do on social media, why something's working, why something's not. You might not know, but at least you can have like a theory. And I think also with some of these other ideas that can help refine that theory. So sometimes I think there is also, and we'll go into this, there is value in like trying it again.
Yeah.
What would you do? What's your next thing that you would try? Like what? So you like, you just can't shake it. Like this post needs to do well.
Yeah. Before I get to the, like me not, or I guess moving on, I would first try to analyze why did it do bad? Mm-hmm. And the way I would analyze it is look at the analytics. Sometimes it'll show like, if it's a reel, it'll show like, first 3 seconds, did it do well compared to your last ones? Or there's even now in Instagram, it has like charts that'll show like based off of your other videos or other posts, like if it's going to do well or if it's not.
Yeah. And it usually is based on that first 3 seconds, how many people watched it. Although today I posted one that's like doing worse in the 3 second metric, but it's getting a lot of views. And I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is like, I think that's a good standard. So maybe the idea is like something about your video didn't catch people in the first 3 seconds.
Yeah. And I think also too, like if your goal is to get more shares, then you have to look at, okay, was it relatable enough? Because I think people want to share stuff that's relatable.
Yeah.
I think all metrics are based on relatability, but it's like looking at, okay, did it hit the area that I wanted to hit?
Yeah.
And then from there, if I'm looking at analytics and I'm saying, okay, what could I have done better? Then I got to ask myself, okay, if I'm going to try this again, should it be a reel? Or maybe it's a different format that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
That it could be, right? So if maybe if you're on Facebook, it could be just text. If it's Instagram, you can try a carousel. Or if it is a reel, even within reels, right? You can go even deeper and see what different type of formats within the reel could I try. So
yeah, I think that's one of the fun things about posting on different platforms. And I've started doing this a lot is I post on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And a video will do really well on Instagram and then flop on TikTok or vice versa. Or on Facebook suddenly will blow up. And you make a good point that you can try to like, okay, what does Facebook do well? Like, what is Facebook good at, right? Like reels, they're really trying to push reels, but still text-based posts kill it. Or that single image post kills it, whereas Instagram, that doesn't work. TikTok, sometimes you can do a single page post. So yeah, so even like trying what's platform specific,
right?
Or maybe what's not normal for this platform, try it. Like that's the beautiful thing about discovery algorithms, which most social media networks use that now, where like you're seeing stuff from people you don't know, is your people might not even see your post if it's bad. So like just do it. And worst case scenario, only 50 of your people see it, and then like no harm, no foul.
Yeah. And if you're really nervous about like, is this going to do well or not, Instagram has trials, which I know you've been testing out, that will literally only go to non-followers. Yeah. And you can test, okay, if it does pretty well in trials, maybe it'll do well in my normal feed. But I do think too, one thing I look at personally, if it doesn't do well, is was my hook strong enough?
Yeah. That first 3 seconds, that thing that got them in the video.
And when I say hook, I don't even mean like verbally. I mean like visually. Was it something that people wanted to get enticed to? Maybe if I have text on my video, was that text understandable?
Yeah.
Could I have said something that was longer, shorter? All those things you want to look at, and that's all goes down to your hook. Was your hook strong enough? If it's a carousel, was that first slide, or sometimes Instagram will show the second slide, so even look at your second slide. Were those 2 slides strong enough for people to say, I want to stick around and watch this or read this?
Yeah, and that kind of relates to one of the other things that I do is I will change, obviously I make a lot of like funny posts, right? So I will change the text to be a little bit more explicit. Like sometimes I think my jokes are a little subtle and they might not come across as like what I'm actually trying to say. I'll try it to be more explicit, not cussing, or I'll try to make it even more vague. Sometimes I'll try one of those 2 things. The cool thing, again, like we talk about trials, is I can post both of those. And I mean, the reality is very, like, sometimes the idea is just bad, and no matter how you polish it, it's not going to do well, right? But you can see like, oh, dude, this one's like doing way better in trials than the other one is. So maybe I need to let that one go live. And then you can delete that old one if you want. Let that one go live. See if that suddenly fixed it, right? That's one thing. I think I've seen a lot of churches do this a lot, where they'll have the like joke video and it doesn't make sense without the text, but they'll put the text in the caption and nobody reads the caption unless they've already like invested in the video, right? So like, I think that's why sometimes they bomb. So try putting it there, try putting in the caption, try switching your caption with your regular text, right? Like you can try all these things just to see like, what was I missing? That's one thing I would try.
Yeah, and I think too, it's coming down to, and I get it for if you're running a church's social media account, you don't have like a lot of freedoms as you would running your own account, but it's also just being okay with testing stuff. Yeah. I don't know. For me, in my personal account, I'm like, I can't overthink stuff, because the stuff that I overthink doesn't do as well, and then the stuff that I underthink does pretty well. Yeah. So, it's always this weird mind game of like, I don't put a lot of effort into stuff, and that's the stuff that people love. And I don't know, it's just literally trying stuff out, experimenting. If it's a series, if it's a topic, if it's a format, like just try it, and you never know what could do well, because I think we oftentimes put too much value in one post. Yeah. And undervalue the power of 100 posts, So it's like, we just have to test stuff and see if it works or not.
That's what, honestly, so I have sponsors on my account, is I will not sell, okay, that's like a lie. I have occasionally, but for the most part, I will not sell a single video sponsorship post, because I'm like, I want to have at least 2 shots at this. And so I'll brainstorm. Ideally, I would have like 3 or 4 posts. Whenever I first started out doing sponsors, it was 3 posts. It was a carousel and 2 reels. And the idea was that like one of those is going to hit. And I feel like with, we have an upcoming conference, and we're like, okay, we got to create our 1 post. And I'm like, man, you're not giving yourself a shot. Like, come up with 4 post ideas and then try them. And then 1 didn't work, and you're already at 4. So why not just retry it and make it 5, right? Like, I think we have this thing where we're like, okay, we have to post once a day. And that's your minimum, right? It becomes your rule, but you could post 2 or 3 times a day. The funny thing is that most people will not see it. If you look at your insights, the majority of your followers are not seeing your content. And that's okay. So they'll see this post, but they won't see that post. And then they'll see that post, but they won't see this post. So you can actually like double up a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I think that's totally it. Really testing. Yeah. And seeing.
And I think the chances of somebody unfollowing you because you're posting too much is probably like very little.
Yeah, that's the honest thing. Is like, I see some of these influencers out here is they'll post the same video every month.
Yeah.
I've started doing that a little bit. Like I post the same video a month later and it still blows up. I usually do it with trials. I just put it on trials. So that's not my followers that are doing it. And then I just leave it up there. So none of my followers, like it trickles into maybe 1% of my followers will see it, but it's reaching all new people. I'm getting follows from people who don't even follow me. And it's, I mean, you can totally do that. But the thing is, you could do it even with your own followers. Most people are not going to remember that post. Think through the mindset of what you're doing whenever you're scrolling through social media. Unless you see something consistently by someone that you follow that's really annoying, you're not going to unfollow them. Instead, you just scroll past. You just go past quickly, right? We're seeing, 50 to 100 posts in a 20-minute period or a 5-minute period, honestly, probably. So you're not like, people are not so worried about your content as you are.
Yeah.
So you can totally do that.
Yeah. It comes down to not getting too attached to one thing because we don't know if it's going to work or not.
Yeah.
And then I think it's just lowering your expectations because if it doesn't work, cool. Try something else. If it does, awesome. We get to double down and try to see why it worked and figure out other ways to make it work again.
Yeah.
But I think when a post does not perform well, it's just part of the game. It's like anything, right? Like basketball. You're not going to make all your shots.
Yeah.
Some shots you're going to miss. Some shots you thought you'd make and they're just not going to go in. And at the end of the day, if we get caught up on the thing that didn't go in, then it's like we're not going to last very long. So when it comes to church social media specifically, it's always hard because we're not creating from a place of like a personality. We're creating from a place of this is an organization, and so we have to have grace to know like things are not going to do necessarily as well as if it's a personal brand, but at the same time there are ways to create content that can go viral, even though that's not even the end goal. But I think sometimes we can get so caught up in analytics that we forget that we're really just trying to tell a message of what this church is doing. So as long as you're achieving that goal, even if it doesn't perform well, that's the win right there. Is like we're trying to get this singular message out into the world, and as long as we're doing that with every post, that's what's the win is, you know?
Yeah, for sure. One of the things too that I did, so that post that you helped me do, that I feel like it didn't do very well. I was like, I'm still committed to this, right? So what I did is I shrunk it down smaller, put a white box around it, and then I wrote text above that says, "He's trying to make the perfect church." We can link up the video in the thing. The original video is just me, launching a fake church, right? The first perfect church because people aren't allowed. And the second video was, what I did is I just kind of like meme-ified it basically, where I put the little laughing, crying emoji face so that people know, oh, this is a joke. Because that's the reality is like there's a lot of the meme accounts we find, they're just reposting other people's stuff with a little bit of like a cue is maybe what you could call it. They're cueing your brain to know that this is something this person thought was funny. You need to watch it. Because I'll watch animal videos sometimes where I'm like, I'm not super interested in the animal videos, but I know because of that cue up there that it's going to be funny. Something's going to be a payoff, right? Even though the first 3 seconds doesn't show me that. And we can do that with our social media content too, even for churches. If the video is supposed to be funny or if the video is like really poignant, be like, dude, he said, almost like give away the punchline a little bit and then let them get there. That'd be a way that I think we could do that with sermon clips. It cheapens the account in our minds, but your followers don't find it cheaper because they see that stuff all the time on social media. So I would definitely get over the idea of like, because I mean, it's funny because like whenever I post my videos on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I'll use different emoji in the captions depending on which platform it is. For Facebook, because I'm trying to cue boomers on Facebook, I use the laughing, crying emoji face, right? Like on TikTok, I will never use that. I'll use the cringe face or the dead face, right? Like I always change that up. But I think sometimes we're so worried about like using the laughing, crying emoji face on Instagram. If you're like me, where you're like, I have to be cool, I have to speak the young language, right? But sometimes you can try a different emoji and see like, is this cueing it better on Instagram? Where we shouldn't be using that on Instagram, but maybe we should.
Yeah. And I think it's always like when you always try something new, you have to be understanding that it's going to flop sometimes. So like with the idea that you're talking about, I remember it was like a very high production. We shot on a nice camera.
Yeah.
Jonathan normally doesn't talk in his videos. He was talking in his videos. So there are different factors that going into it, we kind of knew like this may or may not pay off.
Yeah.
And then at first it didn't, and I think too, when it comes
to, it still hasn't paid off. Like I thought I was going to get like 1 million views or something.
Yeah.
And it's, both formats I posted 100,000, 150,000. Like that's his like I finally gave up. I'm like, okay, this isn't going to be the thing. Right.
Yeah. But I think it's because we tried something new. It was something different. With higher production stuff, sometimes people can see it as an ad because I think our brains are conditioned to that now.
And that's what that meme thing kind of helped show that it wasn't an ad.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like knowing kind of like your audience and your existing audience to know like, okay, what would they perceive this as? And
knowing the audience of the platform.
Yeah.
Instagram, well, more Instagram, you're going on to try to get entertained, right? Like Facebook, you're trying to get rage baited a little bit. I don't know. Like a lot of the content I've been seeing on Facebook lately is just rage bait. TikTok, you're trying to like laugh or learn something, right? You're trying to like get something that you're super interested in. So there's value in all that. What else do you have? I have another one. Do you have another thing that you would try?
No, I mean, I think that's, for me, that was pretty much it.
So the other thing I would try then is posting it again. The exact same post. Just try a different day, a different time. I've posted things. It's funny because like even on my stories, if I post every Sunday, I post like, ask me a question. If I post before noon, I get way less questions than if I post afternoon. Obviously, if you work in a church, you understand it's because people are working in a church. They're wrapping things up and they're just like distracted. They might see it, while they're in the sound booth, but not have time to react to it or actually ask their question or think about their question. So there's a reality of sometimes the type of post that you're posting does not work well at that time of day for your audience because they're at lunch or they are picking up their kids from school or they're getting started in their day. And so the thing that the headspace they might need to be in to be able to get to appreciate that post might not be it. Sometimes because the way the algorithm works, it just hit the wrong people. The 100 people that it hit, it just happened to be, one of those outside of the statistics of how that should work, right? Like the algorithm's not perfect. And sometimes it's that. So I do think there's value, and you can delete it or you can just keep them both up and just post again and see, and then delete the one that does poorly, right? Like there's value in just trying it again, exactly the way it was.
Yeah, I agree. I think one thing I had put is, and you had kind of talked about it, but like take the idea that flopped and try to create a new idea based off of that. So pretty much reiterate off of what you had.
Yeah.
So not even reformat it, but just come up with a new idea. Or one thing I'll do is if I have something, like say I have a piece of content that has like 3 pieces of information in it, instead of like bombarding people with those 3, maybe I'll just break each video into one.
Yeah.
So like an example is I would post videos about like 5 fonts you should know about, blah, blah, blah. But then I did a series where I talked about 1 font each day.
Yeah.
And it was a very easy, digestible, like, okay, I know what the 1 font he's talking about. And that's what helped me blow up. So instead of saying, oh man, these font videos don't work, I just reiterated off that idea and just created more content based off of that. And then that's what helped me grow.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Is I think a lot of times, especially with content, it's a lot more like fencing, where you're trying to find the weak spot. And, instead of a head-on direct approach, you might come out at the side. So today I'm posting a carousel. I wanted to talk about my book, The Comeback Effect, which is a hospitality book, right? And so I was thinking about like, okay, maybe I should post about some myths about hospitality, or I should post like some great tips about hospitality. But instead what I'm doing is I'm posting like some old vintage photos, and it's like, welcome to our church. Here are a couple sweaty guys in the parking lot, right? And so it's like it's rhetoric in a sense of like showing that like maybe some of the things we think are welcoming are not as welcoming as we think. Like that's not it necessarily. Like that's so like I'm trying to find a different way to approach the topic. And we've talked about this before on the podcast, where like sometimes you approach it from the negative, like how to stop something bad from happening instead of how to, live the best life now. Right. And so we can approach it different ways and see like, this approach hit really well. I mean, we'll see. I have yet to see how that carousel post is going to do because I haven't posted it yet, but
stay tuned. Once this video is out, it'll be out already. So you can go check
my Instagram account probably a week ago.
Yeah.
When I had posted it. So
like a week back. See, did Jonathan's post flop or not?
Yes.
That'll be our next video.
Flop or not. I would love to do that where we just talk about the ideas that we have for our posts and then like see did it flop or not. Like a follow-up
video?
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we posted these things we said we were. Did they flop? That's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
But yeah, so to wrap this up, if your post does not do well, don't take it personally. It's just another post. The cool thing is with all these social media platforms, they don't limit you on what you can post. So you can just try it again. Like Jonathan said, post the same video, try a new format, or reiterate off that idea. Or if all that does not work, then just just let it go.
Let it go.
It's in the past. We tried it. It was cool, but not really. So hope this video was helpful for you in your journey on running your social media accounts. And let us know what that's been like for you. If you've had this kind of experience, we'd love to know in the comments or DM us on Instagram. And other than that, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.